welcome back to Vlogmas. Today is day 12 and we're gonna kind of do a continuation from yesterday. So yesterday we were only working with green yarns, but the issue is the point of the challenge wheel that we spun to get the challenge of only use green is supposed to push me out of my comfort zone, and all I did was make things I've made before. Now there was a reason for that, because we are throughout this also focusing on keeping both of our stores stocked. So I went ahead and did the 8 green plushies on our list and then ran out of time for other things. So today we're going to continue only using green and hopefully be more creative. So I'm thinking we're going to do maybe a plant, maybe a green dinosaur or a green dragon, maybe do the alien I talked about yesterday. But before we get into that, we're going to open the last day of our advent calendar. Now this is the last day, so I'm thinking this one is going to be like the prettiest polish, I would hope. What is fun though, there's a cat up in the window. So let's go ahead and open this and see our final polish. I really hope they keep doing these advent calendars because this has been fun. Diamond Dasher Taco. Now this one I definitely need to see outside of the bottle. It's definitely going to be beautiful if you pair it properly, but there's lots of different shapes of the silver hollow in there. It's a cool topper, but maybe not the showstopper. I would have made 10 the showstopper, but maybe everyone else disagrees that 10 was the best polish. But this is their first year doing an advent calendar, and I really hope they continue. So to be extra boring, I'm gonna go ahead and throw all of these mostly finished plushies in my bucket over here. So some of them still need eyes, they all need stuffed. But we're gonna go ahead and start with making or finishing off the shells for the booty turtles, which is technically not using green, but I'm interpreting this as the majority of the pattern needs to be the green. So like I might pair purple with the green dragon later on, but we'll see when we get there. I do still have this partial, I want to say it's teddy bear. So when we get to it, I will show you how I combine my Parfait Chunkies. But because I was on the phone with my sister when I started the shell, I went ahead and started with my bigger ball. So I'm going to make that first shell, or finish it, and then I'll show you how I do the second shell, or how I combine the Parfait Chunkies. My brain is not working. When does my brain ever work though? That's the real question. I'm debating whether I force myself to not use any Bernat Blanket today. Only because the point of this is to push me out of my comfort zone, and we have so many other brand types, yarn brands, that I don't use that often. Like I've had some Kayla's Knotty Ball yarn literally sitting in a box for months. I used like one skein of it. This was between the Joanne announcing their closure and Michael's announcing they were bringing back Posh. And I used them for my crochet kit, so I was desperately trying to find a replacement, and then didn't go anywhere from there. So I believe I have some greens in that. We have Posh, we have Parfait Chunky. I do have a little bit of green Sweet Snuggles Light. I think I am going to count the blue greens as greens for this. I also want to point out, yes, I am wearing green today, just like I was yesterday. That was not intentional. It is laundry day. It's desperately laundry day. And I literally grabbed the first shirt I could find. So I happened to put on another green shirt Those honestly might be 2 of 3 green shirts I own. So, just happen to wear them back to back. I think I'm also going to ban myself today from doing anything turtle and frog related because that is just scapegoating the green challenge. We did turtles and frogs yesterday, so today is going to be anything but turtles and frogs. I'm also not going to make a snake just because I don't want to make a snake. And that's also scapegoating the green challenge. But make sure you've watched yesterday. You can see all of the green yarn in motion. So now we're going to go over how to combine the Parfait Chunky. So this can only be done with yarns that you can easily pull the fluff off of the end. If I'm making a plushie, then I'll just tie them on the inside, but I don't want to weave in more ends than I have to. So for the shell, I'm going to get about an inch on either strand I'm combining of fluff pulled off. So now that the fluff is pulled off on both sides, I just tie that inside string until the yarn combines. You can pull longer than an inch of fluff off, but I try to do it with as thin as I can so I'm not like wasting yarn. And then I like to, if I can manage it, to do a surgeon's knot. So that's where you put your yarn through like normal, and then before you pull it tight, you push it through again. I hope that made sense. I don't think the surgeon's knot is necessary. I just do it to do it. So then you have that, and then I just take my scissors and trim some of this off. I don't go all the way to the knot, but enough that it's like hidden in the fluff. And that's why I like to combine those. I don't know if that's new information to some people, but that's how I combine them. But since I went ahead and combined them before I'm gonna finish off, as I'm throwing my yarn everywhere. This is how much of the initial skein there was, so we are going to count that as finished. I can't show you the thing hanging off the end because I already combined it in, but we were about to finish it off with the second shell. So, one skein down for the day, and hopefully we get a lot more. Here are those finished booty turtles. The ends need weaved in, but problem for another day. So now is where we run into the challenge. We have to figure out how to use green. So we have this little bit of Sweet Snuggles Light that I would love to use up. We also have, I pulled, let me see if I can pick it all up. All of these, ooh, I should have known that was happening. Different shades of Big Twist Posh and Kayla's Knotty Ball yarn. Now these are like, I think they mix well together. So I know some of these shades I grabbed, like these two, are almost more bluish, but we're gonna call them green for the sake of options. I want to try to at least make a little bit in these yarns that I don't typically use before we gravitate back towards Bernat Blanket. I also have the Parfait Chunky that I'm not going to pull off the wall, all of those color options. We do have a second of this green, but I don't think we're going to use an entire skein of Posh. So I know I have some plant patterns that we could use. I think we're going to start basic with plant. But before I go into ones I've purchased, I'm going to check if I have any plant ones saved that maybe we want to do. I don't think I do. Like saved on free patterns on Instagram is what I mean. I do have, I know, a couple in my cart that we could pull. And then I think next I want to make a green and purple dragon in Parfait Chunky. Yeah, I don't think we're going to find any plants on my Instagram saved. I do apologize for the washer going right now, because while it is convenient that I do have the flexibility to do laundry during the workday, it's also a little annoying where it's loud right now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm reaching the bottom. We could make some avocados. I've made avocados in the past. I feel like people like those. But again, I'm not the biggest fan of doing food crochet. Okay, yeah, we've reached the bottom. I know I have some Etsy saved patterns of like smaller, quicker plant makes. So I guess I'll check there real quick. My sister this morning sent me a TikTok of, it's a dragon scarf. So the mom said she asked her husband if she should make one for the kids, and he goes, "Oh, I want it in these colors." And so she was like, "I didn't ask you." So she sent that to me, and she goes, "Nudge, nudge." I said, "You want one?" So that's probably going to be a January make for us. She would like one of those. I also have lots of plans for 2026. So while I'm scrolling to find this in my Etsy cart, I'll tell you a little about it. So I have a document right now of 2026 markets I'd like to do. And if you saw my somewhat recent video of doing a cat festival, I obviously am a big fan of cats. Big fan of cats. I loved that festival, and even though it was a very hefty booth fee, I think I'm going to do it again. And when I was there, I was trying to, like pay attention to what all sells so that I can know moving forward what I need to do. So I think I'm going to sit down in January and look at all the like themed markets I'm wanting to do and start ahead of time. Because the issue I have is, like, if you saw prepping for the cat festival, I didn't prep cats until the week before. And what plushies sold? The cats. And like when it comes to, I like doing a Pride festival in June. So like I need to, months in advance, start prepping for it. And I can set them aside until that market. I just feel weird doing that because my friend's like, "Oh, it has to go to every market with me." It doesn't. But I want to sit down and do that. So like there's going to be a lot of cat things coming. Pottery wise and crochet wise. And I just have tons of plans for next year, and I'm really hoping that I'm able to learn from the market and be able to improve what I do next. So that's another good thing about doing a variety markets is you can kind of, based off of how customers interact with them, know what to do. So like at the cat festival, I learned that people really like calico cats and what was it? Black cats. Those sold out first, I believe. Or was it Siamese cat? Like those are the top 3. So my picture right now for, they do 3 cat festivals a year. I believe the next one's in March. So I'm hoping to do all 3. But my plan, or like my vision, is only bring cat stuff to the market. Because if you watch that video, I'd say 90% of what I sold was the cat plushies. And so I'm going to make cat pottery, cat plushies, and hopefully a variety of patterns. And then they always provide an 8-foot table. So I would have the table like split by like type of cat rather than by a pattern. So I'd have a bunch of orange cats, a bunch of different patterns of an orange cat. That's what I'm picturing, and I'm really excited for it and hoping that that goes well. But it's so nice to know that we are officially staying, because now I don't have to worry about, am I wasting my time by planning next year as to what I want to do for markets. It is not the right time for me to be spending my time doing that, but occasionally it's nice to sit down and look at what I'm wanting to do next year. Like, I'm seeing there's a lot of March festivals I want to sign up for, so if we do end up getting a house and moving in February, it's going to be interesting. But I'm just ready for next year. I know I shouldn't be looking so far in the future. Like, we're not to the finish line for 2025 yet. But I just have so many plans, and hopefully I can stick to them and not fall back into the box that I typically do of always having the exact same plushies. So I think I'm getting towards the end. Oh yeah, I got all the way to the end of all of my saved for later, because I put so many patterns in my cart that it then saves for later because they're in my cart so long. Because I had to make a rule for myself that if I buy a pattern, I have to immediately make it, because I was having the issue that I'm sure a lot of people do, where you buy a pattern and then you never make it. And I know it's only a couple bucks, but those add up over time and you're just wasting money. Alright, so we've got a couple of ideas moved to the cart now. So I found some plant patterns and some gator patterns. I also do have, I think so, a crocodile pattern from All from Jade. Yeah. I was a part of her Patreon for a very slim part, just because I personally didn't get on it enough, and I didn't want every pattern that she was releasing. So it just wasn't in the budget. So I do have that. I really want to make this baby gator, but we're not doing gators yet. So I have, right now I'm looking at a variety pack of plant hangers. So I think people will really like them, but they're very detail oriented, which I know is going to frustrate me in the process, but they're going to come out really cool. And I think most all the colors I pulled will be really good for that. I still need to figure out what to do with this, because it's not enough to make at least a big gator. I'm looking at buying a small gator, so maybe I can make one out of this. We'll find out. Hopefully I can make two. But hopefully by the end of the day, this can be a finished skein. Maybe even the Knotty balls as well, because they're not too big. They're 100-gram skeins. Doesn't say how many yards. I find it kind of funny though that all year I've bought like maybe 4 new patterns, and now that it's December I'm like, screw it, let's buy a new pattern. Or do I just make the one I have already? Okay, let's start by making the plant pattern I have. And then we can come back and buy a new pattern. So I'm going to make this baby Jade pattern, and it is by Cloud 9 Knots. I've made it before in Bernat Blanket, so I'm intrigued to see how it comes out in these colors. They use like a bluish green. Let me quick Google, just because I like to be exact on like matching the color. Baby green. Oh, baby Jade. Why am I typing baby green? Baby Jade plant. We are going to make this one in lime Knotty ball. They don't put color names on their skeins when they ship them out, but they sent me when I ordered, like, the receipt that had everything I ordered. So I went through and it was printed on thermal sticker paper. So I cut it out and labeled all of mine so I know what colors they are. So let's make a plant and see how long that takes me. Probably a while. But I really want to make a gator, so, or a croc. I do know they're different. I can tell them apart out in the wild, but I'm not too picky about which one I'm making for crochet. Just want to throw it out there in case that's anyone else's pet peeve. It's one of my pet peeves when people misname animals. Especially, don't call an African wild dog a hyena. That one frustrates me the most, I think. But I'm going to work on this plant and keep watching Celestial Homebody's YouTube video. In here is that first baby jade. It's attached to the soil, but I think I'm going to make the pot on a later date. Possibly Sunday. We are going to be on a long car ride, so maybe then. But I think we're going to go ahead and make a second one. Why not? It was pretty quick. So let's do it in... That one was Knotty Ball, so let's do Big Twist Posh. And what color is this? Baja Blue. But I feel like it'll make a good plant color, even though it's blue in the name. And here's that second baby jade top. Again, still needs the pot, but a problem for another day, me. It is now 1:50, so we did start pretty late in the day because I had an hour of footage for yesterday that of course narrowed down to only 30 minutes. Mostly because some of that was the time lapse, so then when you of course 5 times the video, you're gonna lose a bunch of time. But I'm going to next make a dragon. Do we need a dragon? No. We're gonna make one. I have in the past made a really pretty dragon in this color combo, but it was one of the dragons that took like 3 hours, so of course I had to charge like $70 or $80 for it, and it did sell. It was beautiful. If I can manage to find the photo, which I'm not sure if I can or not, I will put it in. But we're going to make Crochet by Jenna's No-Sew Dragon with these. So I think for sure it's going to finish off this skein, which is also one of the goals, is to use up skeins. I feel like come January or like post December Madness, I should really revisit using green yarn. Because I have so much of it and I'm staring at it and I'm like, okay, I'm slowly thinking of ideas, but I just don't have time today. And I really want to make a crocodile. Maybe the Kayla will be a cool crocodile. Or do I do it in Parfait Chunky? I feel like I'm more prone to grabbing Parfait Chunky than I am to grabbing Big Twist Posh. So maybe I use the Posh for the crocodile. I don't know. But I realized I have never actually timed how long the crocodile takes to make. So I have no idea how much to charge for it if I do end up making it. But I think we're going to, for now, skip buying a new plant pattern. But I do believe I'm going to buy that baby gator pattern. So we'll make a big crocodile, and then we'll make a bunch of mini gators. And hopefully that can finish this up. And ironically, the big crocodile is what I used this yarn on. So hopefully we can finish that out. We are nearly halfway through December and very far behind on skeins used. But luckily the shelves, which if you watched my pre-Vlogmas cleaning vlog, you will have seen that they were like overflowing. I stuffed the shelves over here. Of course, the ones that are not on camera. I haven't really been using this yarn over here. The blanket yarn shelves are starting to have room. So maybe here in a couple days, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, I can go through the closet and see how many skeins we can pull out of there. Because also in that pre-Vlogmas cleaning vlog, I ended up having to shove some yarn in there because there wasn't room for it. And that's also a goal, is to get everything out of the closet. We're going to have to dedicate an entire day to cleaning at some point. Or maybe we'll do like an hour here and there. That's probably better for my brain, honestly, if I like set a 1 hour timer and we have to clean for that hour and then we're done cleaning for the day. Maybe that's what we'll end up doing. But we're not focusing on that until after the 18th when I restock the store. So we'll also see how the stores do this weekend. Let's go ahead and stock both stores, see if we've sold anything yet today. I mean, it is 2 p.m. on a Friday, so it is technically work hours. So I don't expect really anything to sell till tonight. Store B, nothing yet. Store A, let me reload. Store A, nothing yet. I feel like every time I check middle of the day instead of waiting until the store closes are the days I don't sell anything. So maybe I should stop doing that. But it is Friday, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll sell something. Hopefully multiple somethings. But I do have my lunch going in the air fryer. I know it's ordered 2 o'clock, but I just recently started getting hungry. But I'm going to go shake the air fryer and then see if I can get a couple of legs and wings done before it's time for me to eat. And that green skein is finally done. So I made all of the legs and the wings. And then we got the head done, but it's not sparking joy, and I'm finding myself watching TV more than I am crocheting. So we're going to set this aside for now. And this is very unlike me to have this many whips going at a time. It, I think, is really helpful for me to do the weekly makes every Monday, because in my head I'm like, okay, you have to finish everything so you can show it on Monday. But without me doing that, I'm like, half finish it, sure. So we'll definitely spend maybe Tuesday or something early next week going through and finishing up a bunch of whips so that we have something to bring to the stores. But it's already 3:30 and we've made 3 half plushies. So I really want to just move on so that hopefully I can get something done. Now the question becomes, do we do the big crocodile, buy all from Jade, or do I buy the mini alligator? Let's start with the big crocodile. And I think I am going to do it in Parfait Chunky, just because in her picture, she did it in Parfait Chunky, and I really like how it turned out. So it says that she used 1 skein of emerald, which I believe is this one. Yeah, which this is also what I'm making the dragon in. But we have another skein on the shelf. So hopefully between the 2 plushies we can get everything done just fine. But we will go ahead and get our mediocre barf, not too terrible. I do really need to at some point get around to finishing this. I'm going to add to the challenge wheel for hopefully another day we will pull. How are we going to word it? I'm going to say only used cake yarn. And then in parentheses I'm going to put finish some skeins. So hopefully we'll get that at some point, or maybe we'll even just pick that as the challenge one day. But I have not made this pattern in a long time. I should probably time myself making it, but oh well. Okay, I'll at least be good and go take a before weight so that hopefully we can at least figure out the weight. Because I can always make another one in the future using that Posh yarn that I had pointed out to figure out how long it takes. Because when I am pressing my plushies, I like to make it first to make sure I know how the pattern goes before I time it. But we're not going to have enough yarn to make 2 of them in this color of Parfait Chunky. So let me go weigh this real quick. So we have that picture taken. I'm pretty sure this pattern involves sewing, and it's going to be a bit. So, will we finish anything today? I don't know. We also still have quite a bit of the Posh and Knotty ball to touch. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to dedicate an entire week at some point in the future to, like, essentially just get rid of all of the green I have, except the ones I use on repeat. So, like, Emerald, I use this one. So I don't need to finish out Emerald, but it's honestly probably going to get finished out anyway, but it'll be on a future purchase list. But, like, what am I going to use neon green for? The only thing that keeps coming to mind is a chick with frog floaty, but the frog floaty doesn't take very much yarn. I have 2 skeins of this. So, I did ask in yesterday's video, but I'm going to ask again. Go ahead and comment down below. Even if you already commented yesterday, comment again what I should make with green. Now you've kind of seen the greens I have. We do have quite a bit of Bernat Blanket as well, but you saw most of those yesterday. So for our day 2 of using green, we didn't finish anything, but we added a bunch of whips. So I ended up making a head for the crocodile, and then the dragon we made all the bits to, and we have a head, and then we made 2 tops of a baby Jade. It just needs the planter, and then assembled. So I think I definitely got a little more creative with green for the day 2 of doing it, but I didn't finish anything. But that's okay, because we're going to spend the weekend, whenever we do have time, stuffing anything that needs stuffed, and hopefully I'll be making those pots for the 2 plants. But like I mentioned, the curse of checking sales midday, it did come true. I did not sell anything at either store, which is a real bummer, and I'm honestly getting worried, but I'm just trying to not think about the fact that we are behind in sales. Store B, honest, will probably hit its goal, but it has a much lower goal than Store A, and now I'm feeling crazy, but I swear I normally make $2,000 in December. They did end up emailing a couple days late, but they emailed and said that the store is down for the same time last year. They didn't mention by how much, but they did say that the entirety of downtown Colorado Springs stores are saying they are down for the same time last year. So hopefully something picks up, or I don't know, because my December sales usually have to stay in the business through January and February when there's not a lot of sales, so that in March, when I hopefully have some markets, we can then continue on that month, sustaining that month. But we'll see what happens. So thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you have any more suggestions for green yarns, drop them in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!